Hi everyone, my name is Selena.
My name is Tiya.
Hello everyone, I'm Vatsa.
My name is Tommy.
My name is Enes.
My name is Marissa.
I'm Anthony Montenero.
The goal of all of us really is to make student life a lot more fun. Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of The Iron Ring. I'm Alexandra, a civil engineering student, and in today's episode, we're joined by a few of some engineering society representatives from Concordia, and we wanted to discuss a bit about these societies and also about what student life is like as an engineering student at Concordia University. So thank you everyone for joining us today. So I guess we'll go into the first question and really just kind of tell us a bit about what your society is, what you do, your position, and then what your society does, different events, different things that you do in your societies.
Hi everyone, my name is Selena. I'm the president of CSCE, which is the Concordia Society for Civil Engineering. And in CSCE, we have 3 different categories, I would say. It's events, workshops, and competitions. Events, we have social events like wine and cheeses, and we also have different I would say ice-breaking events. And also for workshops, we have lunch and learns, we have ASB certifications, and we have 3 different competitions, which are toboggan, concrete canoe, and trout ski, all that compete with different Canadian universities. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Hello everyone, I'm Vatsa and I'm a third year computer science student at Concordia. I'm also the co-president of HackConcordia. We are the Hackers Collective of Concordia University. We are also the organizer of ConU Hack 6. So we basically organize a coding marathon for 24 hours straight. And it happens once a year, and it was the biggest hackathon in 2019, 2020. And we had over 800 participants. So yeah.
My name is Tommy. I'm a second year computer science and math and stats student, and I'm director of newsletter for SES Concordia. Basically, our society, we help students, help them network with other like-minded students with the same interests, and we help them give them more practice coding, and yeah.
That's cool.
Well, my name is Tiya. I'm the VP events at GCES, which is the Gina Cody School Entrepreneurship Society. So our goal is really to bridge the gap between engineering and entrepreneurship and give engineering students those entrepreneurial opportunities. So we do a lot of events, a lot of workshops, talks, and competitions to really help engineering students reach their utmost entrepreneurial potential. And that's pretty much it, honestly.
My name is Enes. I'm part of NanoStride.
Yeah.
I'm the chief executive officer. So we basically do research and development on various disciplines, such as AI, robotics, and design and drawing. Our first project is to build a robot that's going to serve as a front desk clerk in Concordia.
That's cool.
I hope we get to do it.
Hope it works out.
Yeah, I hope we get to do it in the hall building. So that's our first project, and yeah.
That's really cool.
Thank you.
What exactly is it supposed to do though? Like, it's just going to give you information on Concordia or anything? Is it kind of like an internet, searches the internet, or what exactly does it do?
So it does a lot of things.
Okay.
So like one of the things we thought about is the Concordia students have to like find their classes and stuff, especially because we've been away for a long time.
Okay. Yeah.
I myself struggle to find some classes sometimes.
Yeah.
So the robot will serve as because as you know, we don't have a front desk clerk at Concordia.
Yeah.
We have the security desk, and that's it.
Mhm.
So the robot will, for example, you ask about where's my Comp 249 class, and it would tell you. And then there's this little NFC place where you put your phone, and it opens a link. And that link has a map to the room. That's one of the things. The other thing is, if you want to be specific, you could put your student ID, scan it, or scan it, or give it your student ID like by typing it, and it would tell you where you have to go next, your classes, and various stuff. We're currently also doing research on facial recognition. So once you have your student ID, and obviously once we remove the masks, it could recognize you without having to put your student ID.
Okay.
Obviously, we have to work through the ethics
Yeah.
of that. But,
Yeah.
but other than that, yeah. And it would also answer more general questions like, do you know where the international student office is? Or do you know where can I get this, that? And yeah, it's more
That's
a general
very
thing.
cool.
Yeah.
My name is Marissa, and I'm the VP sponsorship for EngGames, or the engineering games. So we're a society that are focused on a competition that happens once a year. The competition is 4 days long, and we go, and there's different sub competitions, including a robotics competition where we create a machine for 4 months beforehand. Also an entrepreneurship competition, same thing, we work on it 4 months beforehand. There's also other like cultural competitions that are more fun, like trivia and improv, and like some more like fun ones just for us to kind of, let loose. There's also the academics competition. So that works, it's like an exam that everybody writes, and you write it in groups of like 5 or 6 depending on your program. So yeah, those are all the competitions that they kind of like do over those 4 days, and we prepare for that every year. We get the booklet in the fall, and then we work for 4 or 5 months leading up to the competition on the different sub competitions, and then we do it. And then the winter semester is usually a little more chill for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a lot of competitions in
Yeah.
1 year.
Yeah, so we do like a lot of like events though throughout the year,
Okay.
obviously, to get people
Yeah.
to like come out and
No.
So I'm Anthony Montenero. I am part of IISE Concordia, which is the Concordia chapter of a larger organization called IISE. Stands for the Institute of Industrial and Systems Engineers. Basically, we offer events and academic stuff and social events and all that for everyone really, but the topics we focus on and all that is more to serve industrial engineering students. And I am this year's VP Webmaster. So if you've ever signed up for any of our events on the website or received our newsletter, that was made by me.
Okay.
So yeah.
Cool. All of the societies are really amazing. I mean, I'll talk a bit about women in engineering since that's what I represent. But so I'm the co-VP events for women in engineering, and I also produce the podcast. And women in engineering, I guess, kind of speaks for itself, the title. We advocate for more women in the industry and just creating diversity in the engineering industry and trying to close and bridge some of those gaps that we see in all aspects of any engineering program that we'll see. So that's kind of our mandate. But again, I guess the goal of all of us really is to make student life a lot more fun for students at Concordia. And just because I guess we all have that passion for our specific programs, and we like to talk about those kind of things. So really, I want to ask, why did you choose your specific societies, and what got you interested in that?
Well, for me personally, I came here 4 years ago. I just came back. I just came to Canada from Lebanon, and I just wanted to be involved in some type of way. I did get involved in different other places, not in ECA exactly, more Concordia Student Union and different committees across campus. But I found myself not very much in my field and what I'm studying, and I didn't really enjoy it because it was more, I would say, student politics. So then I found myself applying to CSCE for the VP social position. And it was basically a trial because I really didn't know if that's what I wanted, or I wanted to go back to my old position at Concordia. And then I found myself that I enjoy this way more, just because it's like, taught me what I'm studying in like more hands-on experience. And I met so many people that share the same interests as me, and then I just grew in the society itself.
Well, to be quite frank, you know, it was a bit like by luck, you know, like at the beginning of last semester, I went to the Frosh event that that was hosted at the beginning of the fall semester, and you know, I met a lot of great people over there. And on the first day, there was like a club fair, society fair, and I just went ahead and like signed up to all their like newsletter, right? So including the HackConcordia, you know, and like all of them actually, you know. And then one day, you know, I just wake up, I get the newsletter from SCS, and there was a position opportunity, and you know, I mean, I couldn't, I just signed up for it, and here I am writing the weekly newsletter for SCS. Yeah,
that's really, really cool. Yeah. Kind of sometimes how it ends up being is just by chance, and you just so happen to see it, but no, really cool. Yeah.
For me, first of all, entrepreneurship is something that I feel like I want to pursue in the future. I feel like I want to have my own company, girl boss it, and all of that. But, it's a concept that I wanted to improve my skills in more. And I knew that I wanted to join an association. I wanted that experience. I wanted to feel part of a team. So I was looking at several associations that I might apply to, and I stumbled onto GCS on Facebook, and I was like, whoa, this is exactly what I want, you know? So I attended a couple of their events. I really liked them. I thought it was super cool. And then I applied, and that was pretty much it. And I'm very thankful, honestly, that I'm part of my team now. So
that's great. And that's a big thing too. Engineers, a lot of times you'll see engineers go into kind of the business world a little bit too. So it is interesting to kind of see that, I guess, that mix between the two fields. It kind of gives you, because not many people know what opportunities you have as an engineer.
Yeah, that's true.
There's many different things. You can branch out to any kind of.
Yeah, especially especially industrial engineering. It's kind of
it's very broad.
Yeah, I think I've seen you.
We're in
my
the
program, right?
Yeah. Two industrial engineers.
Yeah. So,
but even industrial engineering too can hit on business aspects as well.
That's a big portion of
it.
Yeah.
They call us. A lot of my friends say that we're the business of engineering.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. So that is. Something that I've seen a lot of is you'll see an engineer get their undergraduate degree and then go get an MBA. Yeah. And I see that's really valued by employers as well, because when you're doing a project and then also having those skills to, I guess, kind of market it and things like that, or even just take, for example, you're in charge of, I know my neighbor, he's a mechanical engineer, but he's director of supply management at CN. So it's kind of more I guess, knowing the engineering aspect to that business.
So IISE, every year in INDU 211, which is the first industrial engineering course we take, they do a little presentation introducing themselves, and then we always have another event afterwards, which is a meet and greet. So while I was there, I went with some friends, and basically I chose IISE in part because it was like my program. It has industrial in the name, so that would make sense.
Logical.
Yeah, and then also because over the course of my first year, I became really good friends with a lot of the members of the student association. So it just kind of ended up happening naturally that everyone knew I was intending to apply to the team, and I ended up just kind of becoming friends with all of them. So yeah, it just happened as a kind of natural transition from just regular student into part of a student association for me.
I chose women in engineering basically because I was a little intimidated by other societies. I mean, it was my first, I guess it was technically my second year, but because, like I said, I came from commerce, I wasn't well versed in sciences. I didn't feel like I knew as much as other students would. So so I guess my first thought would be, okay, why don't I join the Civil Engineering Society? But then I thought, oh my God, what if everyone is just concrete savvy people and steel savvy people, and I don't know what I'm talking about? Or like you see Space Concordia or SAE and you're like, oh my God, these people can do these kind of things. I can't, there's no way. So I figured, okay, women engineering, it talks about a subject that I'm really passionate about. And then I can meet people like-minded, and meet different engineers. So that's a big thing, is being a part of these societies, you get to meet, like here I am meeting 2 industrial engineers, and then could meet other different engineers or engineering students. I was just in a tutorial session for my class, and there was a girl talking to the TA and saying, oh, I don't know what engineering I want to do. And she said, mechanical engineering, machines aren't for women and stuff like that. And
you got up here.
I was
they
like,
are
wait a
for
second. Yeah. And things like that. So I guess she was really, I guess, voicing her struggles in engineering. And I guess that I reached out to her and I said, why don't you try and join women in engineering? Because everything that people are telling you is wrong. Obviously, there's and then she also she talked about industrial engineering, and she said
yeah,
and she said, oh, everyone says that's kind of like the lamest engineering to go into, and I was like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
So my first semester, which was 2019, I went to Frosh.
Okay. As one would.
Yeah, you already know where this is going, but at Frosh, one of the big things is that a lot of the leaders are from EngGames specifically.
Yes. Yeah.
A lot of them. So I didn't really know who they were during the opening ceremonies. I know there's the club's booth, and I just saw a bunch of weirdos in kilts at their booth, singing songs I've never heard of before.
Yeah.
And actually kind of stayed away from them at first.
Don't come near me.
But then my leaders ended up being EngGames people, and they kind of showed me the ropes and taught me what EngGames was and how to get involved. So during my first semester, I did la course, so I went to the events, everything like that, and I actually ended up getting cut my first year, so I didn't get to go to the competition.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that was kind of tough because I was going to the last steps of it, right? And you're going to all these events and you're making friends with all these new people, and they're kind of like a family, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so after that, I kind of just continued and decided I would still be involved. And that's also when I got involved with WE. So I started doing the volunteering events and stuff like that. And then I saw that there was an opening for an exec position, so I applied for VP Webmaster at the end of the winter semester then, and then I ended up getting it, which is how I got involved with WE the next year, and also kind of continued with EngGames.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Cool. Yeah, and I guess you kind of became one of those kilt wearing weirdos that you
exactly.
Talk about. So
Yeah.
I saw you at Frosh with your kilt. So yeah, so that's funny. Kind of, yes, EngGames does come across as the really kind of big personalities, but I think that's part of being in EngGames, is that's exactly what it is having that. That's what makes it special, I think, too, is having kind of that big personality, that the loudest ones at the party or the loudest ones in the room. So that's really fun. And for yourself, it's more, why did you start NanoStride over being a part of an association, or what got you to do that?
I mean, there are 2 main reasons, obviously other than the other ones, but the main reasons, the first main reason is I think I'm just in love with building something that's going to be used by other people, and it's going to actually have a little impact. I mean,
Okay.
as naive as it sounds, it's it just makes me feel good personally.
Okay, yeah.
The other part is, as a computer science student, and honestly as an engineering student in general, we even if we get internship or a job, we wouldn't have the ability to make important decisions when it comes to a product development
Okay.
or something.
Yeah.
So there's always a boss over a boss over a boss over a boss, and you would never get to be into the decision room.
Okay.
However, when you start your own club with other people who are part of it, it's more like we all make the decisions, and it's our decisions, and it's up to us. In a way where it's just like we're it. If we don't do it, it's a lot of pressure. Like if we don't do it,
sure.
it's not gonna be done. So it's pressure, but it's also responsibility. And I kind of like that responsibility as well.
Okay.
But we don't stop at just building robots. Like we want to push the boundaries of AI and robotics within university in general. Our other project is more of larger scale. It's, well, I guess I'm just gonna have to say it. It's basically a drone that's gonna be used to spot early fires in forests.
Okay.
And it has to do with AI. Obviously, use AI to recognize the patterns and spot early forest fire. Sorry. And it's some sort of a challenge because it needs to like fly for a long period of time, and it has to be autonomous, charge itself, like when it lands and charges itself, and it also has to fly and hover. So I don't know how we're gonna do it.
But we're gonna do
but we're thinking about, obviously we have some planning we're planning phases and the early phases, but I just like making stuff.
Well, now that you've told us all what you're going to be doing, we're going to hold that against you, and you have to do it now.
we will.
Yeah, no, I hope I can still be around if that's going to be implemented, or if anything, I'll just walk by Concordia and go see it or something, because that's really, really cool. It's nice to see maybe that kind of helps alleviate some of the stress for first year students and things like that, or not even first year students, but first in-person year students, if that's what you want to call them. So no, that's really, really cool.
Well, for me, it all started during the pandemic. I'm an international student, so I went back home to India, and I was taking online classes. I wanted to get involved in the university more, so I applied for and got into Concordia Art, which is the art club of Concordia, as the VP Finance. Later, I decided I wanted to do something similar to my major too, and that's what got me to HackConcordia. So I joined HackConcordia as the VP Finance last year, and now I'm the co-president.
With that being said, also, how has your student life changed since you started working with your society? How has that changed overall?
So basically, how my student life changed is, I think it built a bridge between like just the student life and the social life, right? Like before, it used to be, I go to school, and then I go back home, and then like I separately hang out with people, like my friends that like have no really correlation with just school in general, right? It was just outside. But that now, it's like I made some new friends, new connections, right? And like often now, like even nowadays, I like my study friends, right? They're often people I've met through the society. So like so like in short, it used to be like I went to school, and then after like separately had fun, and now it's like school is fun,
Yeah. Never heard that before, but yeah but no, for sure. No, I hear you.
Yeah, I get what you say about like studying with people in the library, and I completely understand that, especially because like I'm in the civil engineering society. So after I joined the society, I met a lot of people in my major, which really helped, because I really truly believe that anyone who's studying engineering, they really can't rely on just studying alone. Like there's so many resources, so many different ways you could study, and you need people in your major. So in terms of studying, it really did, being part of the society helped my student life. And also socially, people who for me personally, I see that I fit in more with people that are in engineering rather than people in business. And I guess we just have same type of, conversating, humor, all these things. At the end of the day, we all suffer together.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say overall my student life improved, and it made me meet amazing people that I will probably know for the rest of my school year.
Yeah, absolutely.
For me, ever since I joined the club, it has not only changed my student life but my personal life at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
It's like before I used to just go to the classes and used to come back home, but now I'm making connections at the university itself and also in the industry. I'm meeting new people. I personally was an introvert before, but this ever since I joined the club, this has led to my extroversion too. So yeah, that's
That's really great. I can kind of feel you on that part. I was not really interested in, not that I wasn't interested, but I'm not the type to go up to people and say, hey, let's be friends or something, So I guess societies have made that a lot easier to interact with people who like the same things as you, or people who you can probably eventually work with one day. So that's really interesting. And you don't know where everyone's going to go, and you kind of, you just know people from different walks of life, and that's really, really cool. And also I find you get to network a lot with a lot of companies as well, in the ways that we're sponsored, in the ways that we do events with different companies. So yeah, it's, again, I guess I keep feeding this notion that societies are really, really beneficial in terms of a student life and making your studies not so unbearable, not so I don't want to say not so stressful, because they're still stressful, but I guess, having a team of people. I find myself, we get on our group chat and someone says, oh my God, I'm struggling with this course. And someone else says, I have notes for that. Here you go, take it. So it's really easy to have that network of people surrounding you, and I guess pushing you to do your best, go for those jobs and things like that. So really, really enjoyable being a part of these societies, and I'm assuming you'd all agree with me when I say that.
absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah, so at least you're enjoying your experience as well. I'm assuming, although I guess it could be an extra task on your plate, it's not something you regret, right? So it's still fun to do, and like we said, there's so many benefits to it, aside from just doing your specific position, but what your overall goal is. And I guess kind of getting away from the school side, but how has being in a society maybe changed your career choices in engineering, or what you want to do, or things you've learned in being a society that's changed what you want to do as your career?
Well, I mean, personally, I always knew kind of about approximately what I wanted to do. So in that sense, it hasn't really changed my perspective. Maybe it clarified it, being around people that have similar interests again. It's inspiring to be around, these type of people, because at first, before joining any society, I personally thought I was an insane coder, right? And then I'm around this pool of people where wow, they have a different range of interests within the field, and they build incredible stuff, and it's just motivating to see that. So in that sense, it just helps me push myself even more in what I want to do. Yeah, definitely.
Great. Well, for me, when I first entered civil engineering, it was kind of my first step to get more into environmental engineering, and I wanted to take it as the base and then specialize in the environment. That was until I joined CSCE, and that's where I learned that actually I love planning events. I love putting a timetable and a schedule on everything. So I decided to completely move into project management, because I felt that that's where my skills would be more in place, and that's where I saw that would happen through the society. And other than that, just networking with people from the company itself, where they tell me what they do on a day-to-day basis, what basically their job is, it makes me feel what I'm more interested in. And it really helped me choose exactly what I want to do in civil engineering, because civil engineering is very broad and can take you to so many different directions. So CSCE really guided me to the place that I felt where I would be best at.
Great.
For me, it has not exactly changed my career choice. It has actually boosted my career, if I'm gonna be honest. I'm more focused, and I'm more I do know what I want to do in the future, ever since I joined HackConcordia, because I'm working with like-minded individuals.
And yeah, I think for myself, being a part of women engineering, I think put it in my head that engineering in general is what I want to do. It was more, I guess, being in a society helped me, I guess, see other societies and what they do. And like you were saying, Tommy, like seeing people who you think you know it all, but everyone else is just, you know, a million times like past you.
Yeah. Well, the first time I noticed this actually was at the HackConcordia event.
Oh, really?
This like I signed up for it this January, and wow, you know, like
I can imagine.
leagues ahead.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I wouldn't say this society in particular. I was in Space Concordia before.
Okay.
And I think I was the only philosophy major, because I was a philosophy major before.
Yeah.
Okay. And I was just there, and like a rocket engine, and a lot of engineers, and they start talking about their class. And I felt like I'm not part of the group, right? But still, I knew how to use tools and stuff like that, because like of my projects alone. And I never considered to be computer science students, but I knew how to program, and I knew like a fairly like a good amount of things, because I do projects on the side. And when I took a look at it, I was like, so I'm 3 math classes away, might as well do it, you know. And when it was like summer 2019, I was looking at 2020, I was looking at like internships, and all I see is software engineer, computer science, computer. So I was like, okay, there's a future here. So I joined, and it changed. It's like a whole different, you know, it's a whole different discipline. I like it. It's easy for now.
We'll see.
Yeah. But I think like engineering in general, I think they should make it mandatory to have at least 1-2 classes for all majors to take engineering classes. The same way they should make people from other disciplines, from like engineering students, to take classes from other disciplines, such as music or something, just an art related thing. It just broadens your skill set, and also how you see the world, I think.
Yeah, for sure. It helps you not be so into the one thing you know about. It helps you to, first of all, understand, because it's possible as an engineer that you will be working with those kind of people. For example, say if you do works of art for cities and stuff like that, an engineer will be working with an artist and things like that to build it. So it is good to kind of, I guess, be a little more empathetic of what those different programs do and things like that, and learn about, because engineers, again, like I said, we work with all kinds of people, so to kind of know those things. And it's just interesting that, I mean, for myself personally, I don't know how you got that confidence, but if I was not in engineering and joining Space Concordia, I don't know if I could do that, because I would think everyone would just laugh at me and say, what are you doing here? Like, but it's nice to see that you were accepted and you had the confidence to do that, and that changed what you want to do with your career. So that's really nice. And now you are kind of doing the dual computer science but also philosophy, so you kind of see those two sides.
It keeps me sane.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. But yeah,
I feel like I've like learned like some of my skills more and been able to like hone in more on those. Like, for example, just like the machine, like I've learned like little things about robotics just by like being able to go to what we call the forge, which is like our machine room. So going to that and being able to actually use technical skills and learn these technical skills that we don't actually get to learn that much in class. That's like one really important thing. Also, I've discovered more that like I really like project management, and I like organizing, and having these multiple projects to work on and kind of be in charge of. Like, I do like that. So I'd be really interested in doing an internship related to that. But in terms of like my career after I graduate, I'm still like super lost on that.
Yeah. But at least I guess you're finding out about your interests. And,
yeah, exactly.
And I know I keep saying this, but engineering is such a vast type of career that you can go anywhere with it. And I've said this before, kind of engineering is a way of thinking more than it is a career. So it does allow you to branch out to whatever you find interesting, and then the associations is kind of what helps you find those interesting things that you wouldn't learn in class, and things that might not be engineering but are still something that interests you.
For myself, it's been very helpful, and it's helped me realize a lot of what I don't want to do. For example, I came into industrial engineering. I was super interested in the healthcare aspect of industrial engineering.
Okay.
And then I made friends who are doing that or have looked into that, and I was like, okay, this sucks. I don't want to do this. No offense to anybody who's interested in that. It's just, it's not
for you.
Not my style.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And it's opened up, I guess, like having the experience on your CV does open up some doors, sure, but like it's also being exposed just to more people who you can talk to about your program and see what they're interested in, see what books they're reading, see what they're hearing in the news. For example, I actually got my internship for the summer because one of my friends recommended me for it. Like, it's his position right now, and then he told his boss about me, and I got recommended for the summer. And this is a friend that I had made in my classes, but like we were made a bit closer by the student association, and it highlighted to me like, okay, this guy knows these people, he has this knowledge, etc., because you just get it. Like, it won't necessarily make your career for you, but it does kind of expose it, like shines the light on more doors in my personal experience.
No, I agree.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. You get exposed to so many, not just different people, but also sponsors in general. You get to network, you get to really look at different options, because you can't really decide what you want to do so early on. And while you're going through your engineering kind of studies, you get to try different things out. For me, I feel like my association, it didn't really help me with my career choice per se, just because industrial engineering, I know that I want to open my own company and stuff in the future, not right after university, but how it helped me is that I know how to work in a big team. You know how each person in a team has its own values, its own like way of working, and how to manage all of that and make us like all coherent together and have a very good outcome. I feel like that has helped me so much. And especially when I'm doing, for example, interviews for internships, I always talk about my association, because it was such a learning experience, and they value that a lot in the corporate kind of like setting, because in the end it's like a job, you know, you're technically working, but as you're studying. So it's that experience, I feel like, that has helped me a lot in general.
It exposes you to the, I guess, more real life aspects of engineering or your specific engineering program that classes otherwise wouldn't.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's also, you're working with a team that's like voluntarily there.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like when you're doing a class project where you're there working on something because you have to work on it. These are things that the people actually want to do. This is a choice that they've made to join GCES or IISE or WIE. They've made this conscious choice, and you get to work with people on something that they actually like doing. And that's it's nice to see.
What's nice also is that a lot of times when you have big events or something, you know, that's not pressuring but important for the association, it's amazing to see the outcome of it. Like, I know our Upstart competition, it went really well this year, and we had a lot of good feedback, and we were so proud of it as a team. And as we were working, obviously we put in a lot of hours, a lot of work, but we knew as we went that it was worth it. And for me, that was like the biggest like reward for us, that all our hard work and the fact that we all worked together was actually give a very good event. So
yeah, and it improves a lot of your soft skills too.
yeah.
That's a big thing that I see a lot of feedback we get is that engineers don't have as much as the soft skill as they do the technical skill.
Yeah.
So I think that helps a lot in your leadership skills and your team, or working with a team, working individually, anything like that. And then putting on these big events, big competitions, things like that takes a lot of work, and it shows your dedication to the end goal. So that in itself can help you with your career path, and then also kind of tell you maybe things that you didn't really know. You know, if you're taking on a project and you find out, oh, I really like being the leader of a project, or I really like doing this specific task, then you can kind of gear your career towards that. Do you think you would have benefited from some sort of either workshop or something that describes each engineering program before you went into university? Because I know that's a huge thing, is people kind of
there was the open house. I just didn't. I was super interested in mech at the time.
Okay.
And then I realized I hate design. Like, actually hate design.
Okay.
Like, it makes, like, MI 313 is the drawing class. And our final exam, because it happened when COVID started, our final exam, instead of being a proper final exam, was a project where we had to design a gearbox. And I hated that so much. And that, it's like, it's actually unreal how upset I got about this. And
yeah.
And that kind of reinforced my decision. But I think going to the open houses was a good idea, and I definitely should have spent more time there, because I just kind of ignored everything else.
Okay.
So like it's I'm not sure any CEGEP students are gonna necessarily listen to this, because I would kind of be surprised.
Well, we have our CEGEP and high school conferences that we send.
Oh, okay.
So you never know.
I've never been invited to one as not a woman.
You're also not a high school or CEGEP student.
That is
so.
not anymore.
Well, yeah, hopefully.
I
know we've discussed a lot about how societies are really beneficial and things like that. So what would you say being in a society has done for you overall? Not just for your education, not just for your career, but overall, what has it done for you?
I think responsibility and friends are the best thing that come out of these associations.
Yeah.
I made friends when I was in Space Concordia that I still see today, and they were very close friends. And you know, it's nice to share problems with them and within the association, because we work on them. I think problems are the best way to make friends.
True.
Sharing, solving them together. But also responsibility. I mean, like when I work on NanoStride, I have to worry about 30 people, making sure they are up to date, making sure everything on the website is clear, making sure sponsors answered, and it takes your sleep away. It really does.
Yeah, it does.
Start thinking about them, and like you go to bed at 9 p.m. and you sleep till 2 a.m. just because you're thinking about it. But yeah, I think friends and responsibility, and also skill set. Like you acquire a lot of skills going to a society.
Yeah.
But also there's also the good thing that you could add in your resume.
Yeah.
That would be beneficial. Obviously, I think it's a red flag when someone wants to join a club just because of their resume. Because you know,
and you're not going to put in the work.
Yeah. When it's more about passion and the love of technology or whatever department you're in.
Yeah.
I think that's what matters. I mean, the only thing the club gives you is a place where you can get funding and stuff. I mean, the club is not the actual name or where the club is. It's the people. It's the members.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, it gives you credibility with Concordia. You could ask for things and you'll get them. There's a legal structure that you couldn't do it on your own.
Yeah.
But other than that, the members are the club.
Yeah, you need those people. You need those passionate people to make something worthwhile and for it to keep going and do what you want it to
I mean,
do.
there are many clubs in Concordia, for example, that that don't have passionate people on board because like people like the founders just left or like something like that, and then they don't thrive, and then they end up like shutting them down because they don't do anything.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the lack of passion is what kills these clubs. But
Yeah.
I think my biggest takeaway would also be like the connections I've made, the friends I've made, like especially like very different. Like I feel like for WIE, it's very much like a sisterhood.
Yes.
And very wholesome and just like such a good environment and just good vibes from everybody. EngGames is also like very different. Like for us, we're like 46 people, so we're like a huge team. But honestly, like I consider like every single person on that team like my friend, my family, like we always say Conco love, Conco family, and that's like really what like EngGames is about, like Concordia EngGames is about. So like I hang out with these people outside of the association even, they've become like my like go-to friends, my best friends that I know I'll like have like years from now.
For myself, for women in engineering, like you're right, it was, I would have never met you personally since you're in electrical engineering. We probably would have never crossed paths, but now it's like, oh, you come in the studio, I'm like, oh, Marissa's here and stuff like that. So it is nice, and it's really fun to meet these kind of people, become friends with these people you're probably you could even work with one day, or you'll still be in contact with outside of school. And then also sometimes associations will do kind of an association alumni come together. I don't know how you would call it. Kind of like a team bonding for the alumni to come back and or even invite them to events and things like that. So you can kind of still see what your association's up to, see what people are doing, see kind of what you were able to put into it and how that's developed and things like that.
I remember my first year when I was attending Frosh. Shout out to the person who told me this. I really don't know who you are. I can't even remember how you look. They told me to set a priority list, and the first thing on the priority list would be your studies. That comes the most important thing. And then the second thing would be get involved as much as you can. And then after that comes like going out and partying and all that. So that really stuck with me until this year in my fourth year, and that's when I went into societies to do the second thing on my priority list, which is get as involved as I can. And I believe being part of a society made me grow as a person. It made me, as you stated before, it made me meet so many people from the engineering field that taught me so many different things in the engineering field, because as a civil engineer, we can't only know civil engineering or how concrete is poured. We need to know everything. We need to know electrical engineering. We take software courses and different types of engineering, and being in a society has taught me that. Another thing about being in a society is just working in a team, knowing how it's all divided, how tasks are divided. And in every workplace, especially civil, I felt that I'm going to be working in a team. So being in a society, I have to give it to them. It was when I was most exposed to that type of work. And overall, I just felt I got the experience that I wanted out of university. If I just stick to what I learn in the books, it's not going to be enough for me in the real world. It gives me skills and different communication skills, actually, that I wouldn't have acquired anywhere else. So thank you to CSCE.
It's and that's the thing. It's those soft skills that I think is a huge thing that is talked about amongst engineers. Is a lot of engineers might not have those soft skills, but they're important because you have to collaborate with people in anything that you do. So it is important, and it's a good way to get it without, I guess, like say for introverts, if you're you don't want to do an interview right away, you're kind of nervous about that, it's a good way to kind of get you those skills without having to push yourself past your limits. So
I completely agree with what Selena said.
Yeah.
It ever since I joined a society or club, it has not only led to increase in my technical skills, but as soft skills at the same time. And this really helps in working in future in your career, because most of the companies, you don't work alone, you work in teams. So
Yeah.
it's really important to get your communication skills up, and which is not very common in the tech industry. So yeah, so that helped me. HackConcordia and other clubs helped me a lot in that.
Yeah, no, I agree as well. It's developing those skills that you're not going to learn in class, but you're highly, not even just encouraged, but I guess it's necessary for you to have them. And then it's even great, like going into an interview and being able to kind of talk about your society, and then it shows that you have leadership potential and you have communication potential. So it's really, you can say what your GPA is and they'll understand, okay, you're a good student, but prove to me that you're going to be the best of the best, and you're going to be able to communicate and that's a big thing too, is communicating your projects to people who aren't engineers, right? So it's having that skill, but
right. So yeah, so a bit like everybody said a bit,
Yeah.
especially Selena, one of the points she said was, I mean, personally, if I hadn't joined like a society or gotten involved with any of the societies, I think I would have done the minimum of just like, studying, doing exams, and that's it. But I think just joining societies added great value to my university experience overall, and just like when just networking, events, and simply having fun too. So yeah, that's
yeah.
I've made a lot of friends
Yeah.
that I wouldn't have otherwise made.
Okay.
Like I made a friend. He's not in Canada anymore. He moved back to Saudi Arabia, where he's from. But we made friends all over the world during the pandemic.
Cool.
Because he had friends that he went to high school with, and they had their group of friends. So I met all those guys and gals. There's everyone in my team who I'd like to, at least, I hope they think of me as a friend.
Yeah.
It's nice that it expanded my unprofessional network of people.
Yeah.
I have
Definitely. Yeah.
there's a lot of people that I feel I can count on, I feel I can rely on, and that I wouldn't have met or interacted with nearly as much if I hadn't joined.
Yeah.
And that's, I'd say, the biggest impact for me.
I second you on that, because in my association, we're from every single type of engineering, and we have undergraduate and we have a master's student. These are people that I don't think I would have met except the ones that are in industrial, but the others, I don't see them in my classes. I wouldn't have met them, only would have met them through GCES. And I feel like that's absolutely amazing, because now I have, people that I trust that are closer friends to myself, and that, because we worked together for a year, we really built that bond together. And in the future, I know that I can always contact them again.
And it also helps for group projects, because
a
lot of the people I work on group projects with are people from within the student association, or they know or they're friends of people in the student association, because I know that these people do good work, and I can tell.
But with that being said, I think we did a really good discussion on what the benefits are of being in a society, and I guess the Concordia community is really, really great. I always love doing events and collaborating with other societies, from lizard lounges to just networking events. It's always fun to kind of have these collaborations, and like this collaboration for the podcast. It's really nice to see everyone's point of views. So thank you all for being here today. And thank you to our viewers for tuning in. And we'll see you on the next episode of The Iron Ring.